Super Bowl showdown. The Pats' opponents doing some chirping. The Eagles already talking trash.
Taking a knee. Both teams overcoming some serious hits to their offense. How they were able to bounce back after two prominent players were taken down by injuries.
And it feels like the first time some Pats players prepared to soak in their very first Super Bowl, but still able to thrive in the postseason pressure cooker.
In more news today, USA Gymnastics reeling as a former Team USA doctor awaits sentencing for sexual assault. 3 top executives now stepping down.
And fierce flames after a gas well explodes in Oklahoma. More than a dozen people rescued, but several others still missing.
This is 7 News Today in New England.
Just after 6:30, and we want to kick off our coverage with a weather alert today. This is a live look. Gillette Stadium is in the background. You'll have to trust me because you can't see it. And this is a problem because there is thick, dense fog. Drivers are also dealing with dangerously icy roads in some parts, so kind of a double whammy weather-wise for your conditions this morning. Thanks for sticking with us on this Tuesday morning. I'm Chris Anderson.
And I'm Amaka Ubaka. There's a lot more to get to in this half hour in Today in New England, but right now we're tracking a lot of that active weather this morning as we take a live look. You can see it's the Zachem Bridge there. Traffic is flowing, but Ren, you said the thing we really need to be worried about this morning are those icy conditions out on the roads.
Yeah, and you know that fog not doing any help to see where those slick spots are or to see where cars in front of you are having issues with slick spots. So those icy roads remain a big concern through the morning commute. We do have a winter weather advisory in effect north of the Mass Pike and generally west and northwest of Metro Boston. That's through 9 a.m. with freezing rain and freezing drizzle this morning and some heavy rain that's working its way in by mid-morning. You can already see that kind of knocking on our doorstep here. Downpours are likely, even a few storms are possible. Right now, we're in on the lighter stuff, but it's light icing, and that is really just treacherous out on the roadways. A lot of reports of icy conditions this morning along 495. Even east of 495, we've managed some icy conditions as well. So just take your time out there. We do have a dense fog advisory in effect to our west and across the South Shore through the mid-morning hours as well, with fog making visibility down to about a quarter of a mile, if not less than that. And we're seeing about half a mile's worth of visibility in Metro Boston as well. You can see that cold air is camped out for us, and that's going to continue to create concerns with icing through the morning commute. As we head into the late morning, winds pick up, and then we're seeing that soaking rain as well.
All right, thanks, Ren. And take a look at this. A Twitter user posted this picture from the North Billerica commuter rail station. You can see a thin layer of ice on the platform there. The MBTA is warning all riders to use a lot of extra caution while getting onto and off of the trains this morning. And time now for Fast Track Traffic. Here's Elena Pinto tracking all of the conditions out there. Elena?
Yeah, Maka, good morning. So a live look at the Pike here. Lots of fog here and maybe some slick spots, especially if you're west of 128 and more so if you're west of 495 this morning too. The expressway, very heavy this morning already. Pretty typical commute there. And again, the fog you'll have to battle with as well. But go to the maps, you'll see a little bit more red, especially on the expressway, maybe on the split too. But other than that, we're looking pretty good. Only a little bit of yellow and green throughout the area this morning. If you're coming out on 93, it really won't be too bad. But keep in mind, traveling on 495, especially in the Chelmsford area, even 95, you will run into some icy patches, especially on those off and on ramps too. Let's talk about the drive times. They really won't be too bad. About 30 minutes on the expressway, only 12 on the Pike, 20, excuse me, on 93. No delays on the T or the commuter trains, guys.
All right, we're also following breaking news, a major earthquake off the coast of Alaska. Nicole is back at our breaking news desk with more.
Right now, there is a tsunami warning in parts of Alaska and a tsunami watch for the entire U.S. West Coast. You hear it there, those sirens going off in the city of Kodiak. That's nearly 200 miles from the center of a massive 7.9 magnitude earthquake. That earthquake happening off Alaska's south coast. And now the National Weather Service is warning people in Alaska's danger zone to evacuate inland to higher ground. There is also a tsunami watch for California, Oregon, Washington, and Hawaii, which means people in those areas should stay alert and be prepared to take action if needed. Coming up at 7, you'll hear from a woman who lives on on the island closest to the epicenter. In the newsroom, Nicole Oliverio, 7 News.
Nicole, thank you. And now we want to update you on your top stories for this Tuesday morning, where police in Quincy are investigating a deadly crash that happened right on Quincy Shore Drive. State police say that the driver who caused the accident drove off from a trooper who pulled him over just moments before. They say the car may have sideswiped one car, then crashed into another before rolling over the seawall. The driver of that vehicle died, and then 2 women were taken to the hospital. One of them was a passenger in that suspect's car. It is back to work for federal employees this morning. President Trump signing a short-term spending bill last night. It was voted on by lawmakers, and it ended the government shutdown, at least temporarily. The bill expires on February 8th, and Democrats are relying now on Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell to come through with his promise to vote on DACA before it expires in March.
Now back to the Super Bowl showdown. At least one member of the NFC champion Eagles doing a little chirping and talking trash about the Pats ahead of the big game. He's trying to send a message before the Super Bowl, but the Pats know how to deal with distractions. 7's John Coco was live at Gillette with more. John.
Well, Amaki, you'd think that the Eagles would learn from the Jags. They talked some trash, too, and look what happened to them. Sent packing right after the AFC Championship.
They're the best team left standing, so it's going to be a tall task for us, but we're excited about the challenge.
2 weeks out from the Super Bowl, the Patriots know one more win won't come easy. That's not the case for one Eagles player who says he's got his sights set on one guy, saying, "Hey, Tom Brady, pretty boy Tom Brady. He's the best quarterback of all time, so nothing I'd like to do more than dethrone that guy." But he's not getting under the Patriots' skin. They know all about dodging distractions.
I think it's just being mature about it and, approaching it like a work week and, just kind of limiting the distractions. And you got to do that all throughout the year.
For the Pats, the focus is football.
I think it all comes down to how we play on the day of the game. So, and they know that too. They're going to be so prepared as we will, and it's going to be a great game.
And so when it comes to trash talk, it's just best to assume it's not coming from the Patriots locker room. We're live at Gillette. John Coco, 7 News, Today New England.
The Patriots and the Eagles have at least one thing in common. They are dealing with some major injuries to some of their big stars. 2 key players will be stuck on the sideline. 7's Kerry Corrado is live at Gillette with more on what these teams are dealing with injury-wise. Kerry?
Well, Chris, the Pats lost Julian Edelman and the Eagles lost Carson Wentz, both key star players. So now the other players in the teams are going to have to step up for the Super Bowl.
Both the Pats and the Eagles will take the field without one of their key offensive weapons, both sidelined with season-ending injuries. The Patriots lost Julian Edelman before the season got started. Edelman tearing his ACL in a preseason matchup game in Detroit.
That's just part of the game, and whoever's next in line always has to be ready to go.
The Eagles lost their young star quarterback Carson Wentz in Game 14. Wentz tearing his ACL like Edelman. Backup quarterback Nick Foles stepped in and has kept the birds flying high.
Both teams have made up for it, and guys have stepped up, and it's been an interesting season for both teams. I know that.
For the Patriots, they're seeing other players step up like Danny Amendola. As the Pats coined it, it was all Dola Bills.
He's quick, very good hands. So just to see, go from the practice field to the game is not a surprise to me, and obviously in the time when we needed it.
And both the Eagles and the Pats, all-star teams, so only time will tell who will be the champions. Live at a foggy Gillette Stadium this morning, Kerry Corrado, 7 News, Today New England.
As we get you ready for the Super Bowl showdown, we want to see your Patriots pride. Send us your pictures of how you're cheering on the team and the road to the ring number 6 quest. You can email your pics to send it to 7@WHDH.com or send them via Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, or Snapchat. Just make sure you don't forget to use the hashtag #PatsOn7. Next week, Adam Williams and the 7 sports team will head out to Minneapolis to bring you all the action leading up to the big game. You can catch the live reports right here only on 7 News.
7 News now turning to a Wakefield fire captain off the job and facing troubling charges. He's accused of sexually assaulting a 19-year-old woman. According to court paperwork, the alleged incident took place during a Christmas party at Christopher Smith's Wakefield home in 2015. The department says he was off duty at the time, and the documents say Smith mixed a drink for the teenager before touching her without her consent. He will be arraigned in court later this week. Also on 7, the search for survivors is on after a gas well explodes in Oklahoma. You can see all of this billowing smoke there. This morning, 5 workers are still missing. A plume of smoke and flames billowing into the sky. The fire burning for hours. Now, the whole area has since been shut down.
New this morning, USA Gymnastics announcing 3 key board members have stepped down. The chairman, the vice chairman, and the treasurer say that they are done, while former medical doctor Larry Nassar is being sentenced. The positions are reportedly volunteer and unpaid. U.S. Gymnastics' former president and CEO resigned last month. Victims have been giving their impact statements during Nassar's sentencing. More than 100 women have come forward telling their stories of abuse that they say they faced at the hands of Nassar. He pleaded guilty to several sexual assault charges. Olympic gymnast Allie Raceman was among the dozens who spoke at Nassar's sentencing. The Needham native detailed some of the abuse she went through during the Olympics and spoke about the strength of survivors. Larry Nassar is facing decades in prison for child pornography charges.
And when we come back, we'll have much more on the Super Bowl showdown. Believe it or not, for some Pats players, this will be their first shot at a championship. How they're dealing with that added postseason pressure.
Then new at 7, a popular candy brand is giving up a taste of what it's expecting between the whistles on Super Bowl Sunday. Obviously, that's not the right video. We'll have more on that story coming up in a moment.
And Tom Brady fans, listen up. Here's your chance how you can get your hands on a piece of TB12 memorabilia.
Security taking extra steps for Super Bowl 52 to make sure that Brady's jersey doesn't get stolen again. Remember that story?
And a weather alert. Keep an eye on the roads as you head out of the door. It is a foggy morning out there as we take a live look at the road conditions. The roads are dangerously slick. Plus, there's a warning if you're taking the T this morning. Traffic and weather when we return.